The crystalline caves of Draconix Prime had never known silence like this. Coral pressed herself against the luminescent rock wall, her breath coming in short gasps as she watched the massive creature before her. The dragon, easily 30 meters from snout to tail, lay crumpled in the center of the cavern, her iridescent scales dulled by pain and exhaustion. "Please," the voice echoed directly into Coral's mind, bypassing her universal translator entirely. It was the ancient telepathy of the Dracon species, reserved only for moments of desperate need. "My hatchling. She needs food." Coral had been surveying this sector for mineral deposits when she'd stumbled upon the scene. Now, as a xenobiologist turned prospector, she found herself facing a situation no amount of training had prepared her for. The dragon's wing was bent at an unnatural angle, clearly broken. Burn marks scarred her underbelly, the telltale signature of plasma weapons. Poachers. Near the dragon's massive head, barely the size of Coral's arm, a tiny hatchling mewled pitifully. Its scales shimmered with that newborn translucence, and its eyes, ancient and knowing despite being mere hours old, fixed on Coral with unmistakable hunger. I don't know what she eats," Coral stammered, taking a cautious step forward. Dragons were apex predators, intelligent beyond measure and fiercely protective. The fact that this mother was asking for help meant she was truly desperate. Crystalline moss. From the lower caverns, mixed with cave beetles. The dragon's mental voice grew weaker. "I cannot move the hunters. They will return." Coral's heart clenched. She'd heard the stories. Dragon scales fetched astronomical prices on the black market, used in everything from armor plating to luxury fashion. A live hatchling would be worth even more to private collectors. "I'll get the food," Coral said firmly, activating her wrist communicator. "But I'm calling for help too." She descended into the lower caverns, her headlamp cutting through the darkness as she gathered handfuls of the bioluminescent moss and scooped up the chittering beetles into a sample container. When she returned, the hatchling was whimpering, pressed against its mother's cooling scales. Coral mashed the moss and beetles together, creating a glowing paste, and offered it to the baby dragon. The tiny creature snapped at it eagerly, its appetite voracious despite its size. As she fed the hatchling, the mother dragon's breathing grew more labored. "Thank you, human," the mental voice whispered. "I never thought your kind would save it," Coral said, though her voice cracked with emotion. "Help is coming." But even as she said it, she heard the unmistakable sound of boots on stone. Multiple sets. Her blood ran cold as 5 figures emerged from the cavern entrance, their plasma rifles gleaming in the dim light. "Well, well," the lead poacher sneered, his face hidden behind a reflective visor. "Looks like our prize tried to get help. How touching." Coral stood, placing herself between the poachers and the dragons. "You're making a mistake. I've already transmitted our location to who? The nearest galactic authority station is 3 systems away." The poacher raised his rifle. "Now step aside or join the lizard in." The shot that rang out wasn't from a plasma rifle. It was the sharp crack of an old-fashioned projectile weapon, human-made if Coral wasn't mistaken. The poacher leader collapsed, clutching his shoulder as his rifle clattered away. The others spun around to face the new threat. A figure stood at the far entrance of the cavern, silhouetted against the pale light of Draconix Prime's twin suns. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and wore the simple clothes of a frontier farmer. In his hands was a lever-action rifle that looked like it belonged in a museum. "Name's Atticus," the man said calmly, working the rifle's lever with a practiced motion. "I heard someone was having trouble with pests." The poachers opened fire, but Atticus had already moved, diving behind a rock formation with surprising agility for someone his size. He returned fire with mechanical precision, each shot finding its mark: shoulders, legs, weapon hands. Not killing shots, but enough to disarm and disable. Coral used the distraction to grab a plasma rifle from a fallen poacher, adding her own covering fire. Within minutes, all 5 hunters were down, groaning in pain but alive. Atticus approached, tipping his wide-brimmed hat at Coral. "Ma'am, heard your distress call on the emergency frequency. Was tending my crops when it came through." "Your crops? Out here?" "Terraforming colony about 20 clicks west. We're the first humans to try farming on Draconix Prime." He glanced at the injured dragon, his expression softening. "Majestic creatures, aren't they? Shame what some folks will do for credits." The mother dragon's mental voice touched both their minds now. "You Saved us. Both of you. I'm called Serafax, and I am in your debt. Atticus knelt beside the massive head, showing no fear. Let's get you patched up first, then we can talk about debts. He looked at Coral. You're the scientist type, right? I've got medical supplies and heavy lifting equipment back at the farm. Between your knowledge and my resources, we can help her. Over the next several hours, they worked together. Coral used her xenobiology training to set Serafax's wing and treat her burns, while Atticus rigged a pulley system to help reposition the dragon more comfortably. The hatchling, now fed and content, chirped happily as it watched the two humans work. Why do this? Serafax asked as her strength slowly returned. My kind and yours have no alliance. No history of cooperation. Atticus paused, wiping sweat from his brow. Where I come from, Earth, there's an old saying. You don't need a reason to help someone. You need a reason not to. He smiled, the expression transforming his weathered face. And I can't think of a single good reason to abandon a mother and her baby. Coral found herself smiling too. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons, she added softly. It's our stubborn refusal to walk away when someone needs help. Serafax's eyes, ancient and wise, studied them both. Then perhaps, your species is more remarkable than we dragons believed. When I am healed, when my daughter is grown, we will remember this day. We will remember that when a dragon asked for help, humans answered. As Draconix Prime's sun set, painting the cavern in shades of amber and gold, Coral and Atticus sat together, watching the hatchling play. In the distance, the approaching lights of galactic authority ships finally appeared. Think they'll be surprised? Coral asked. Atticus chuckled. That humans befriended a dragon? Absolutely. But that's what we do best, surprise everyone by being decent folk. And in that moment, on a distant world of crystal caves and ancient creatures, two humans had done what humanity always did when faced with suffering. They helped, they persevered, and they made the universe just a little bit better.